How's it? Today we are going to look at this beauty. This is the Air Arms S510 Ultimate Sporter XS. And before I continue, I have to admit that I love everything about this rifle. This is my standard for what an air rifle should be, and we'll go into some of the details of what that is. Let's just start with the barrel. So this is a shrouded Lothar Walther barrel that is extremely accurate. If you like me and you didn't know what a Lothar Walther barrel is, I'll put a link in the description. It's a company that makes high precision rifle barrels for competition. And when I shot this, that came through clearly. If we then look at the air cylinder, I don't know exactly what the capacity of this air cylinder is, but it fills to 250 bar, and I got about 60 clean shots at 250 bar. So if I looked at the manometer, it was at 250, and by the time it got to 150, that's when my 60 shots started dropping, as you can see in the graph that I'll post now. So as you could see there, my best shot was about 910 feet per second, which was about 33 foot-pounds of energy. And my consistency really sat at about 850 feet per second. So this has got the Series 7 regulator adjustment, or the Series 7 regulator, and it's got 7 settings on the regulator that you can configure. I'll post the configuration of these settings now. So ultimately, as you can see there, I've got two incomplete settings, or not incomplete settings, but two sort of indefinitive settings, if that's even a word. And that's why I've only got 5 configurations there. My personal opinion is I typically shoot at setting number 6. So that's where I sit at about 850 feet per second with 18 grain pellets, which for me gives me the most accuracy and the most consistency. And I don't think you'll ever go beyond setting number 4. I mean, I don't see the point of shooting anything at 300 feet per second, but in any case, you have the ability to do that. So you can clearly see that configuration here on the right hand side with this adjustable screw, and on the left hand side you've got an indicator of exactly where that configuration is. Like I say, I typically put mine on setting number 6, and that's where I keep it, that's where I get my best consistency. If we look at the trigger, so this is a 2-stage adjustable trigger. This trigger is magnificent, absolutely magnificent. It is so smooth to handle. I've measured it before at less than a pound, but things change on the camera. So let's see what it measures today. So firstly, obviously, when I charge this specific rifle, it is feather light. So let's see what this measures at today. So that is exactly 1 pound, 4 ounces. Like I say, when I measure it, I typically use less than a pound, or I typically get less than a pound. But in any case, this trigger is extremely smooth. The safety is embedded within the trigger, so not the trigger housing per se, but the actual trigger itself. So there's a little pin or a little button within the trigger that you can just press in, and then the safety is off, and if you press it back, the safety is on. So it's very simple to use, very simple to maneuver. Obviously, if I look at charging the rifle, I do have the ability to decock it. So if I just hold that trigger in, you'll see that the trigger is now decocked. If we look at the stock of this rifle, it is, I don't have words. This is magnificently beautiful. It's got an adjustable cheek piece. This adjusts up and down. It adjusts for angles as well. So you can really get this as close as you possibly need to get it in order to get a consistent view through your scope every single time. I know that if my cheek touches this cheek piece, my eye level is perfect for the scope itself. It's also got an adjustable rubber butt stock. I personally don't, I never saw the need to adjust this. It works perfectly for me just as it is. I did, however, adjust the butt stock for comfort, but in essence, that's all I needed to do for myself. Now, some of the things that I love about this rifle, other than the precision, the looks, and the accuracy, is it's got this little thumb piece. I don't know if that's by design, it probably is, but when I rest my finger on the trigger, my thumb just goes and settles into this beautiful, beautiful, soft, elegant piece at the back of the stock, and I absolutely enjoyed that. This is a magnificent rifle to shoot, and just before we take it out on the range and go and have a look at how it performs, one thing that I'd like to mention is on this specific rifle, I've got the Element Helix scope. So in my humble opinion, there's only two scopes that you should choose between. It's either the Helix or the Element Helix scope, or it is the Hawk Sidewinder. I absolutely love both of those scopes. They both have their pros. So for example, this has got a zero stop, which I really enjoy, which I really like, which the Hawk doesn't have. But then the Hawk has got the clickable turrets. It's also got the adjustable parallax wheel. Absolutely love both of those scopes. Obviously, the Hawk did beat the Element Helix at the British SHOT Show Awards this year. So maybe the guys at Element can tell us why that is and how narrow that margin was. I'd be very, very interested to know. One other thing that I've got on this rifle is I've got this Hawk level, and that's purely for consistency. Every single time I use this rifle, I want to make sure that the next shot goes exactly where the previous shot went. This is unfortunately quite a heavy rifle. It weighs about 3.8 kilograms. So it is not a light rifle by any means, but its beauty and its precision makes up for it. So let's just speak about a couple of things. So the first one is, if we look at filling this specific rifle with air, it's got the air arms filling port, or whatever specifically this thing is called. I know a lot of people complain about this. I personally haven't had any issues. So I find it very, very easy to use. So I'm just going to go and screw this off. And I line this little port at the back with the port in the front, and it's as simple as that. So for me, very, very easy to go and put this on. I did put like a slight little bit of silicone oil on the O-rings itself, just to make it easier for me to put this on and take it off. But yeah, I don't see, sort of any hassle with it. I mean, obviously, it will break my heart if I had to lose this and then had to replace it. So that could be a drawback. But in terms of usability, very, very easy to use. I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. So if we're going to look at the magazine this comes with two 10-shot magazines. Obviously, this is the 5.5 millimeter version, or the .22 for that matter, and it comes with these extremely easy to use self-indexing magazines. I haven't found a simpler magazine to fill. There are no springs, no levers that I have to pull, no magnetic covers. You literally just take your pellets, put it into the hole, turn the lever, and put the next pellet into the hole. Now, coincidentally, this is also the biggest drawback that I have with the Air Arms rifle. Believe it or not, there is one thing that I don't like about it, and that is the fact that if I don't count my shots, inevitably I take an 11th that doesn't exist. And when you play a game like Follow Me, you inevitably look like a fool. So that has happened to me once or twice with these sort of magazines with the spring levers. You know, when you get to the last shot, it will prevent you from actually charging or closing that specific shot. And as a result, you know that you're out. That doesn't happen with the Air Arms. So that's absolutely the only drawback that I could find with the rifle. Now, with this specific Air Arms, I also had the ability to get a optional moderator or a silencer, depending on what you want to call it. Honestly, I've never taken this out of the box. I've never had to because of that shrouded barrel. This thing is extremely quiet. Yeah, I've never seen the need to actually use the silencer on the rifle itself. Now, at the range, which we'll go to in just a second, I need to mention a couple of things. Firstly, I forgot to charge the batteries on my sound device, so I did run out of sound quality eventually. So for that, I do apologize, but you should be able to get the gist of my experience. At 25 meters, I was able to shoot a 10-shot grouping the sizes of a South African 10-cent coin. Now, this is so tiny. I mean, it's something like 13 millimeters or you know, yeah, I think it's about 13 millimeters. 10 shots at 25 meters. When we went to 40 meters, I shot 6 shots the size of a 1 Rand coin. Now, I need to mention that I am at best an amateur shooter. I don't have any special skills. I don't win all the competitions. I just try my best. So whatever I can do, you can do better, believe me. So for me, that was excellent shooting. I also tried to shoot this little bunny at 40 meters, and fortunately it only took me 1 shot to do. So that was quite interesting. And then I was challenged by Z from the club to shoot a playing card, a joker card, at 25 meters. Now, I've shot joker cards with my 6 Sauer P320 at 10 meters before, and I felt very chuffed with myself. But at 25 meters, I couldn't even see this card. And I managed to shoot it with 1 shot. So for me, that was an incredible experience. And I'm actually going to go and frame my first card that I've ever shot. It's not going to be my last. So with that, let's go to the range. Let's see how this performed, and then we'll come back for our final conclusion. Okay, let's test the accuracy of the Air Arms S510. Unfortunately, Z here by the club has challenged me to shoot a joker card at 25 meters. She did it in 1 shot, so I think I'm going to embarrass myself, but I'll do it anyway. Let's see how that goes. So we're going to start with 5 shots at 25 meters. We will shoot the rat at 32 meters, so we'll do 2 shots of that and see how that goes. And then we will do 5 shots at 40 meters and finish off by shooting the hare or the rabbit. So let's start off with 25 meters and see what the accuracy is like and the consistency is like on the air arms. So as you can see, it's extremely accurate, and I wish I could explain this 1 pound trigger. It is so easy to squeeze. Let's go and aim for the rat. So the rat is sitting at about 32 meters, so I'm just going to take this back piece out for a second, that you can just aim on the rat there, and let's just adjust our parallax. Okay. Okay, so there goes a rat. It's always nice when that happens. And there goes the rat again. Okay, perfect. So let's go and see what we can do at 40 meters. As you can see, the wind is pretty strong today. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, although I really want to. Okay. Okay, let's see what happens at 40 meters. Okay, and let's try and take out the rabbit. And that was the rabbit. So as you can see, this is extremely accurate. Well, so Z absolutely called me a chicken for the wind blowing off the card, and she reckons I'm not going to get away with it. So she's gone and put the card back, and we're going to try and take it out. Jeez, like. Oh man. Okay.
I have faith in you.
Thanks, Z. What makes it worse is that you did it with one shot, so. Okay, let's see. Let's try and do it. That is amazing. What a feeling. Thanks, Z. That is awesome. I can't believe I actually caught that on camera. That's amazing. Okay, so as you could see, we had tremendous fun at the range. I didn't want to adjust the turrets on my scope, so you know, I used the different levels to determine the different distances. It was absolutely great fun to shoot with this rifle. So let's go and rate it. The first thing that we need to think about or speak about is performance. And as you saw in that video, even with the fact that I jerked a couple of my shots, I mean, I could feel that it wasn't precise from a trigger perspective. It was a pretty good day at the range. So from a performance perspective, this has to get a 5 out of 5. It is extremely consistent. It is extremely accurate. And at 60 shots through the regulator, you can't ask for much more on a 22 or a 5.5. So has to get a 5. The second one, or the second component that we typically do our ratings on, is design and build quality. I mean, once again, this has to get a 5 out of 5. I've never been to the range where I haven't had compliments or someone coming over just to look at the rifle, not touch it, not shoot it, but just to look at it. So absolutely beautiful rifle, has to get a 5 out of 5. The next rating goes for ergonomics, and once again, this has to get a 5 out of 5. My favorite features, obviously, how my thumb just naturally glides into this section. I would like to shoot like these professional shooters that sort of hold the thumb to the side when they pull that trigger. I'm not there yet. So for me, this works excellently. It's also got all the grooves and all the right spaces. So it was perfectly designed for ergonomics. And obviously I've got the ability to fit things like my slings. I've got the ability to fit bipods, etc. So once again, has to be a 5 out of 5. The last component that we're going to speak about is this value for money? Now, interestingly enough, this is not the kind of money that I wanted to spend on an air rifle, to be extremely honest. This is not a budget air rifle by any means. They go for about 35,000 Rand in South Africa, or $1,500, 1,300 pounds. So this is not a budget air rifle. Having said that, is this value for money? I mean, you only have to pull that trigger, you know, 100 times, or if you want to be politically correct, squeeze the trigger 100 times, and you will know that this is definitively great value for money. So once again, my overall rating has to be a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love this rifle. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Follow us on our social media pages, and we'll see you in the next review. Thanks so much.